Now, many of us has been following the news and hearing about the Russian investigation, and they're saying that the Russians caused the problems with the 2016 election because Donald Trump won. There's no way he should have won. Hillary Clinton should have won. So they've been looking at everybody they could look at to blame for Hillary Clinton losing. They didn't really pay attention to a few things that caused that to happen. Number one, Hillary was not the best candidate. Number two, they screwed Bernie Sanders out of that nomination. They did. They done all kind of dirty tricks to get her the nominee. Number three, the Democratic Party was split in half. Many of them were angry at what happened to Bernie Sanders. I heard white folks saying, I'm not voting for that woman. She's dirty. She's this. And it's people within the Democratic Party said that at the convention. I watched the videos. They was angry. So you had the party split. So when the party was split, what do you think was going to happen? We talking about even the white demographic. Now, okay, you turn and look at black people. You're finding out memos is coming out stating that don't promise black people anything. Just tell them, yeah, we're going to talk about police training. We're going to look into it. They always stated don't promise because practicing that benign and neglect policy that was written by Patrick Moynihan in the 70s. And we talked about that on this channel. They don't do no tangibles for black people at all. Black people have gotten to a point where they said, I'm not going to waste my gas or my time if you don't give us something. I'm not talking about trickle down politics where I'm gonna give it to these people and then you'll get some on the back end. No, we talking about something specific for African Americans, and we're not talking about criminal reform because not all black folks are out here thugging it. They're not. Now I know there's a lot of people locked up because they target black people. And they lock up more people than any other country in the world because they cannot know a day without slavery, okay? But they said that the Russians came in and created 30 Facebook pages and 10 YouTube channels. And they targeted African Americans. This is what they stated. Now, what makes us so special that the Russians, allegedly, the Russians targeted us? Why? Now, they were stating that their operatives used social media to confuse, distract, and ultimately discourage black people and other pro-Clinton blocs from voting, using bogus claims such as Clinton receiving money from the Ku Klux Klan. Black people that didn't vote for Hillary, that's not the reason why they didn't vote, okay? I'm letting you know that. It said black turnout declined in 2016 for the first presidential election in 20 years, according to U.S. Census Bureau, falling less than 60% from a record high of 66.6% in 2012, which is for Obama, right? So exit polls indicated that black voters strongly favored Clinton over Trump, and that was true in a lot of ways, but some black folks did vote for Donald Trump. It did happen. Now, they state in this piece here that I'm reading that they targeted black people and they were saying to them that no lives matter to Hillary Clinton, that black people should vote for Green Party candidate Jill Stein, and that not voting is a way to exercise our rights. Okay, so can black people think for themselves? I'm just trying to figure this out. It don't matter what Russian troll or whatever troll fake page says. Black people can't think for themselves. So a black person can't say, I like what Jill Stein is talking about. They couldn't do that at the time. Or they couldn't say, I don't like now one of them, Trump or Clinton. To me, I'm not voting for the lesser of two evils. If I feel they're evil, I'm not voting. Black people can't make that comment to themselves. It has to be something else. You understand what they're saying about you and us, black people? They're saying you're so stupid that you let somebody from a foreign nation tell you what to do and you did it. If we go on that, Are you still having that Calvin Candy attitude? These are my N-words and I do with them what I want. And because your N-words didn't do what you wanted, now you're pissed off? The thing is, black people are sick and tired of just voting and getting nothing. And that's what that happened for. But I don't understand that. Hillary Clinton's husband signed a crime bill that affected black people more than anybody else. Mass incarcerated black men, took them out of the household. They're not mass incarcerating white men for being on opioids, like they mass incarcerated black men for being on crack cocaine or selling it. It's all kind of laws they put on the books to not lock them up. But when it comes to us, you have 100-to-1 sentences. Now, they're stating that they spent, the Russians, allegedly, more than 1,000 different advertisements were directed at Facebook users interested in African American issues. It said material was intended to inflame anger that skewed from race to poverty, incarceration, and the use of force by police among black Americans to divert their political energy away from established political institutions. Let's talk about that. So the Russians allegedly start targeting black people based on rates of poverty. Well, if black people was treated like white people in this country and we had more of a fair shot, maybe the Russians wouldn't try to target that issue. You talk about mass incarceration. You're mass incarcerating black people. Other people outside this country are seeing what you do to black people. Everybody in the world see what you do to black people. You think like nobody's oblivious to our treatment? You think no one all over the world didn't see the Philando Castile video? When you just shooting in a car and you have a little child and a woman in there? You think the world didn't see these videos? You think the world isn't connected on the World Wide Web, right? www. You think the world didn't see Oscar Grant? You think the world didn't see Eric Garner? You think the world didn't see Rakia Boyd or Sandra Bland? You think the world didn't see Alton Sterling? The world see it all. So why is it that you think you're so shocked that someone that it's an enemy to you would like to use those issues to cause friction? The friction was started for hundreds of years of how we were treated and still being treated to this day. Maybe if you treat black folks right, they couldn't exploit something like that, allegedly. But that's too much to ask. That's too much to ask to stop killing black people. Stop looking for reasons to lock black people up. To allow black people to have good businesses in their areas where they can get viable jobs. That's too much to ask, because you want to keep black people as a permanent underclass, because you understand that in the system of racism, white supremacy, black people can't do well. Because if black people do well, you're going to feel some sort of way, because your system is built off of black people being a permanent underclass. If a black person have a thing better than them, they get pissed off. And many black people throughout history lost their lives because they had more than them. So you think nobody knows the history of this country? Please. Now, they stated that they had a few pages that had a couple of million followers on Facebook. I don't know who these 10 YouTube channels are. I wish I knew, but it's definitely no one we knew for sure. They didn't come into this section of YouTube because we kind of all know each other. But don't insult us like that and say that some Russians influenced us. No, black people got their own mind. And I'm going to tell you, like I said in the midterms, it's going to happen once again. If your candidates do not come with a black agenda, something for black people, not this people of color crap. Because when you say people of color, black people gets nothing. Black people are at the bottom of people of color. Everybody gets something over us. Everybody. Illegal immigrants get more things than black Americans. And we've been here for hundreds of years and helped build this country and innovate this country. And yet they're getting more than black Americans. So we are not for the people of color anything. Don't call us that. That's first and foremost. You need to have an agenda that's going to be suitable for us, or black people are not going to come out and vote. It's going to happen again. I'm warning you. I don't know what more to tell you. You can keep practicing that benign and neglect policy if you want, and that's fine. Do that. But don't expect black people to vote for you. Sure, you have some black folks that, oh, we got to get out and vote. Trump's a racist. Man, we've been dealing with racists every freaking day of our lives. We live in a racist system. We deal with racism on our jobs. We have racist police. We're accustomed to racism. We're used to that. You can't scare black people anymore with that. This person's a racist. He's one of many. The fact is, black people are not going to waste their gas and their time if you don't give them anything. It's just that simple. What's so hard about giving black people something? What's so hard about that? I don't think it's hard. But some folks don't want to do that. And because you don't want to do that, you're not going to get the votes like you think you should. And also, the Democratic Party don't own the black vote. If black people want to vote Republican, they can. They want to vote Green Party, Independent, Libertarian, whatever they want to vote, they can. No one owns our vote. I can understand if we was constantly getting something out the deal. That's one thing. But why black people looking up and say, why be loyal to a party that treats everyone else better than us? Everyone gets something from the Democratic Party. You have, the feminists get what they get from the Democratic Party. LGBTQ get what they get out of the Democratic Party. Okay. Illegal immigrants get what they get out of the Democratic Party. Just to name three people that's way above black folks in the area of receiving. Black folks not even on the list of receiving anything. Period. So why should we be flocking and running to vote for the Democratic Party? We already know the Republicans is on. We know all the racism, white supremacy they have going on, but we wasn't voting for them. We were voting for the Democrats. So if the Russians allegedly done this, then blame yourselves for creating a condition where they can do it. If you treat black folks right, if you treat us like citizens, if you obey the law, obey the Constitution, then we wouldn't have these problems. Black folks, the majority of them want to be your friend. They want your acceptance and they want your approval. They still do, the majority of them, no matter what some of them say. And even some of those people are tired now. Even some of those people have woken up and say, well, you know what? What's the point? Because you can't keep doing that, what you doing to black folk. You can't keep gunning down black innocent people in the streets. And then they get a slap on the wrist or go home. No, black people are not anymore going to allow our votes to be wasted. Sure, we'll vote in a local election because that's very important. And we'll get people running and they have to be for the community. And they're not going to be all that, oh, I'm just a black face, but I'm fighting, pro-white issues. No. They're either going to help the community. They can help other people too. I'm not saying they can't. They're elected official. But you're going to help black people. If you're not going to help black people like you help everybody else, then you're not being voted in. It's just that simple. Fix your issues. Treat black people right. End the racism and white supremacy. And then no one can allegedly exploit things that y'all have done, we're talking about the white supremacists, have done to black folks for hundreds of years. But leave me a comment, let me know what you think about this particular video. These people think we stupid, we got our own mind. You don't own us. No matter what you think, you don't own us, you don't own our votes, you don't own crap. Just letting you know that.